people, so welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at mastering, and yeah, this is a really exciting one. We're basically going to be looking at one of my favorite setups, basically what I'm introducing you here to, which is the basic concepts of what I'm doing and some of my favorite plugins for mastering. And do comment down below if you want a more exhaustive, maybe sort of longer 2-part series on mixing and mastering. I'm highly considering putting that together for you guys, so let me know what you want to hear more specifically. Okay, so I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to jump straight into it and look at this track, which I produced earlier this year. Obviously, I mixed and mastered it. Basically, we're going to have a loudness meter there, and you want to make sure that the LUF's integrated does not exceed the level of -9. When you take your track from mixing to mastering, you do not need to worry about, in my personal opinion, the LUFs that much. You actually want to be watching the -dB count. So here I just touched it down because I kind of imported it with a bit too much volume. You can see it's like -0.5, but you ideally want to make sure that your track is around -9 dB to -6 when you're taking it into a mastering session. Alright, okay, so those are the first couple of points. So first off, we've got the Kirchhoff EQ, and this EQ is doing a super simple job. I know anybody who's used a graphic equalizer can see how simple this EQ setup is. So that should not scare anybody. All I'm doing is selectively moving some mud from areas which I deem to not sound good. So I'm just going to listen to a bit of the track.
In this devotion, had a warning drought, had to push him out. It was your city yet cold, get sold. I ain't feeling that.
So for me, the vocals kind of start to pop out, and yeah, you can sort of hear what's going on more. The drums sound a little bit more alive, and a lot of that is to do with cutting out the mud here. We're taking out low mids here, and we're taking out highs, which are harsh. So that's all that's going on here. That's your first plugin. I'm not going to get crazy into this compressor. I do think it's worth investigating which mastering compressors work for you in your session. Go investigate what you want. I found this one is quite nice, and it does a lot of dynamic processing. It processes even the timing of the compression by sort of pushing, I think, the attack and release kind of together. It's got lots of interesting things, but I'm just going to talk about the main thing which is going on here, which is kind of essential glue compression. It's quite aggressive here. And I know a lot of people might say not to go too aggressive early on, but because I'm trying to actually cut down the amount of plugins, because if you're mastering, I've been there using 12 plugins to master, and I tell you it does not work. Trying to cut down and make sure everything has a really designed purpose. So we're going to listen to the compression, and you're going to see it's pretty extreme, but it does a good job of cleaning and gluing everything together. And this is really a mastering glue compressor. Actually, quickly just mention the fact that we're also just doing a tiny bit of monoing here.
Bloods in this devotion, had a warning drought, had to push him out. It was your city yet cold, get sold. I ain't Bloods in this devotion, had a warning drought, had to push him out. It was your city yet cold, get sold. I ain't.
So next up, we've got the third plugin, which is for Pultec EQ, and actually now this one I was a little bit skeptical of using, and you can probably see that it's not the most subtle use of the Pultec EQ, but I like boosting the Pultec EQ because you can get so much out of it, and it really just like rolls off frequencies so nicely that it almost doesn't matter that you go a little bit extreme. So what we're doing here is we're adding back in frequencies which we deem to be good, and for this track I just like the sound of boosting it quite a bit, and that's going to give a nice sort of roundness and nice sheen to the overall mix. And I think Pultec is just really really useful in this case. And I'll probably, before I use this trick, I actually thought it would probably be too much, but then you realize that actually, because the Pultec works so smoothly, that doesn't end up destroying any frequencies or dynamics. So you're going to hear that now. We're going to play back a bit of the track, and yeah, just listen to what the Pultec is doing.
Bloods in this devotion, had a warning drought, had to push him out. It was your city yet cold, get sold. I ain't feeling that. Their soul seems a cap, but I ain't fitting that mold. live again. We all just faces and we figuring, but who delivering? I'm trying to live by that, while we trying to live by this code, trying to feel and get. Grinding on the set, moving ASAP like.
So the next plugin is a very well-known and often utilized mastering compressor, but we're not actually doing anything with the compressing algorithm in this plugin. All we're using it for here is color, and we'll basically move on to the stage of saturation. And yeah, this is a compressor which I've used and I use in other chains as well. It definitely does have great users case, and yeah, I don't think there's anything bad to say about it. But in this scenario, we're basically just using the color function here. So this just selects and gives you slightly different flavors of EQ. And yeah, I mean, I think a larger point here is that you basically want to start rolling in saturation and dynamics, and I thought it was just a nice thing to do. Do not be afraid of like adding those bits of, you know, color to your master if you think it's going to help and not destroy the frequencies. So yeah, that's what we're doing here with the Shadow Hills mastering compressor. Essentially moved on to saturation, and we're just gently adding in some nice harmonics and frequencies to help the track translate in different contexts. Right, so we're going to listen to the track with and without the saturator activated.
Flirting is devotion, had a warning drought. Had to push him out. We watch the city yet cold, get sold. I ain't feeling that. Their song seems to cap. But I ain't fitting that mold. Straight soul, what I'm feeling in. Reason to live again. We all just faces and we figuring, but who delivering? I'm trying to live by that, while we trying to live by this code, trying to feel and get. Grinding on the set, moving ASAP like I'm Spike Lee. Ain't no one around, just a mirror there to hide me. I'm fasty, put it on some smoke, bitch.
So moving on to the next plugin, we've got the ultimate MacDaddy saturator for a mastering session. And I tell you, this is one you need, but obviously we're just giving you the concepts. So what we've done up to this point, to recap, is we've done some gentle removing of frequencies to begin with, and then we've done some compression, glue compression. We've done some adding some nice frequencies back in, added a tiny bit of nice gentle color, and then now we're gonna do the same thing again, but maybe to slightly, yeah, you're gonna see a bit more of a noticeable degree. So yeah, this is a really important stage, and this plugin is night and day. I think just using a bunch of plugins like I mentioned at the start, this is the one you want if you just want to saturate and get a nice, good, professional sound which doesn't impart any weird frequencies. That's all I can really say. So we're going to listen to the track with and without this mastering saturator. So like I said, we're doing two stages of saturation here almost, and one's just a tiny bit of color, and this is really just adding the bulk of the color and bringing the whole track up to a more vibrant place.
Flirting is devotion, had a warning drought. Had to push him out. We watch the city yet cold, get sold. I ain't feeling that. Their song seems to get devotion, had a warning drought. Had to push him out. We watch the city yet cold, get.
So last but not least, we've got the finisher plugin, and that's just a saturator, right? And master plan, I think if you know, you know by this point. I would recommend it, but it's not the only way you can finish off your mastering session. And what's being done here is very, very minimal. Like it's only really 3 things being done here at all, even though this plugin does offer some color options. I'm not using any of that. Just basically, as you can see, I've boosted the EQ slightly, and I've increased the width. We'll start here first. I've increased the width a little bit of the track overall. And finally, we just made sure that we're hitting the right loudness peak through the loudness knob here. So essentially, there's only 3 things happening on this final plugin. And master plan, it does something to the signal, adds a nice little bit of a boost on the signal, but essentially all that's going on here is limiting and some clipping and some stereo widening. Very, very simple. And we'll just play back and you can hear what the track sounds like.
devotion had a warning drought. Had to push him out. We watch the city get cold, get sold. I ain't feeling that. Their soul seems to cap. But I ain't fitting that mold. Straight soul, what I'm feeling in. We just wanna live again. We all just faces and we figuring. The hood delivering. I'm trying to live by that. What we trying to live by this code. Trying to feel and get. Grinding on the set. Moving ASAP like I'm Spike Lee. Ain't no one